Good morning and welcome back to the Travel on Gravel channel. Today, we'll be working on the Colt. Okay, good morning everybody, or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. Welcome back, joining us here in sunny South Africa on a very quiet day. So I'd like to just get this out of the way and address the elephant in the room. We are day 2 in South Africa's lockdown period during the 2020 coronavirus pandemic. It's very quiet. There's not a single car on the road. I live on quite a quiet road anyway, but we actually have a main highway just over there. And as you can see, there is nobody on it. The only car you can hear right now is the Colt. So we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to get sorted on that rust problem we spoke about last time, but first I want to do a quick oil change. I like doing my oil changes when the engine is mildly warm. Lets the oil be a little bit more flowy. Is that the right word? It is now. Less viscous. It runs out of the engine more easily. So that's what I like to do. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to put your car on jack stands. Just kidding. We own a 4x4. We don't need jack stands to get underneath it. So let's enjoy this little journey of ours. That's a good question. Alrighty, so now we're down under the car. We've got a drain plug, and you can see why, I hope you can see it on the video at least, is our drain plug is slightly forwards. So I like to have the car a little bit forwards, just so this drain point's a little bit lower than it normally is. We have got some weeping around here. It's an old car. This car's nearly done 400,000 Ks, so it doesn't really eat oil, it doesn't lose oil, it doesn't leave oil marks anywhere. It just likes to weep a little bit, so I keep an eye on it, but other than that, we're alright. Alright, hopefully this comes off in one take. And that is why you don't over tighten stuff. You can see, first shot, a little bit of tension, and that came off nice and easily. I hate over tightening stuff. Like, I've broken too many threads and rounded too many bolts to over tighten stuff. This is always the fun bit. You watch me spill all of this all over the floor. So I like to press, I'm sure anyone who's done this a number of times will tell you, but press the nut in and keep turning it until you know that it's free, like that, and then in one shot you can take it all out. Black as a night. It's definitely due for a change. Okay. Don't do that. Don't drop the phone in the oil. Actually, that's really stupid. I'm going to drop my phone in the oil if I do that. Alrighty. Next up, we're going to do the oil filter. It's this guy up here. Yeah, I quite like the positioning of this oil filter. It's not at a stupid angle. It's not going to try and pour oil all down my wrist for no reason. And while we still got that rhythmic dripping, we'll do the next one. So yeah, sometimes when these oil filters are side mounted or something, they're horrible and messy, but this one is lovely, and it's got great access too. Like, I can get my whole hand around it, which is great. So sometimes, and again, this is the reason why I don't do stuff up really tight. Yeah, we can actually get that off by hand with a lot of effort. There she goes. Cool. Now, you can see here, it might be a bit dirty from going through puddles and whatnot, but it is not leaking, which means I did do it up tight enough before people comment like buggery, telling me I've done it all wrong. But I've done one of these before where all of the, because this metal's not very strong, where all of this metal's been ripped off because it was done up too tight. So I don't like doing it up too tight. Okay. Ooh. Again, it's going all down my arm. Okay. Some days you just gotta get messy. And there she goes. Alrighty, while the last drops of oil are falling out of there, we're going to get the new oil filter out. Look at that. Same as the old one, as if I use the same stuff all the time. What we can do. Check box. Get out of the way. There we go. I like to spread the box out. Just because this is going to go in the bin anyway, I might as well have it a little bit dirty. Now, because our oil filter is mounted vertically, okay, it's on a slight angle, but it's pretty much vertically, we have the advantage that we can prime the oil filter first. Really, I don't think it matters overly whether you do this or whether you don't, but definitely, if I've got the ability to do this, I would always like to do it this way. That way, there's more oil in the system, it gets picked up faster, there's less chance of oil starvation while we're restarting the engine after draining all the oil out of it. Tighten up the oil. Now, obviously, every country, every temperature range is going to have its own recommendation for the oil. I've been running this Shell Helix in the Colt forever, and it seems to love it. It doesn't eat it much either for such a high kilometre engine either. Notice it's using a little bit more than usual, but really, I don't have to top it up that much at all. This is where I make another lovely mess. Now, I'm sure there's lots of you out there who think, why would I do this myself rather than having a garage to do the service? Services don't cost much, they don't take very long. It's not like you're without the truck for any length of time. And I say, the more time you spend on your truck, the better. Because you want to know how it works, you want to know its foibles, you want to get to know it. If there's anything that it likes to misbehave on, and you have a problem in the bush, then you know exactly what's happened. It's going to take you no time to diagnose, no time to fix, because you're already aware of what's happening. So even just little things, just messing around with the interior, getting underneath the truck every month, little things like that will really help you when you go out travelling in the bush and something does go wrong, heaven forbid. So it's good to have that, even base level of mechanical knowledge, because those are the times that knowledge is going to come into hand and you're going to get yourself out of trouble. So it's definitely worth doing these kinds of things. Cool. Okay, in the last clip I didn't explain it very well, but there's obviously a rubber O-ring on the top of here, and it's always nice to give it a bit of a wipe, get it lubricated so it does seal nice and well. Old oil, new oil, it doesn't matter. And because we are on a slight angle here, I didn't fill it all the way up, so fingers crossed I don't end up with oily fingers again. So be careful you don't cross thread these, because the metal in this filter isn't the strongest in the world. You know I said access was good in here? Could be worse. There we go. Hand tight. I didn't do any more than that. That's good enough. That way, hopefully, when we come around to taking it out again, it will be a lot easier. So, we are just going to go for it. Make sure we don't cross thread it. Feels good. A bit gritty. Let's have a look, see what's going on there. So we don't want bits of grit in there. Let's give that a go. That's way better. Whatever was in there, we got it out again. There we go. And we're going to get under here just now with the torque bar to make sure it's torqued in properly. There you go, wasn't that easy? Alrighty, now we've got the new filter and the bung back in, it's time to fill it back up with oil. Now, I have a horrible track record with this. I always make a mess. I always miss the hole at some point and the new oil ends up on the engine somewhere. So, I got a towel with a hole in it. Tuck it around. And what a mess. Wasn't I clever? I want to make sure you know how much oil your particular vehicle takes. It's always different. This truck takes just over 5 litres. Which is quite nice because it means I have to buy 2 5-litre cans. And I've got some spare. Right, last thing to do, check the dipstick. Have we put enough in? It's always lovely when it's fresh. Makes it harder to read though. There we go. Sorted. Alrighty, so the oil change is done. Now we're going to move on to the rust. Now what I've been using this truck for about the last 4 years is running a scuba diving business here in Cape Town, which means every weekend, every week, day in, day out, this truck has had wet cylinders, boxes of wet gear that inevitably leak. We've had salt water in and around the back of here for a very long time. And as you can see, it's not looking too good. So what we're going to do is we're going to sweep all this sand out. We're going to get some penetrant on these bolts. We're actually going to take the whole back door off. There was a piece of aluminium on the back of here, but it started cutting the boxes and cutting the gear, which is why I took it off. So we're going to see if we can get this off, take some of this off, just neaten this all up, make it look presentable again. So I'm going to put this down, put the time lapse on again, and get dirty. Oh. Okay, after that bit of blood, sweat and tears, this is what we're left with. It's actually not so bad in places. This is pretty gnarly, we'll clean all this up. But actually underneath the hinges is actually looking okay. So that's kind of promising. Some of those nuts were really stuck in there. I've used nearly all of my penetrant, which is not good when you're on lockdown and not able to get any more supplies. But hey, right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this thing. This is a Scotch-Brite wheel, that's what they call it here. Really good for taking off paint, rust, those kinds of things really quickly and efficiently without damaging the metal underneath. Alrighty, one sweaty 20 minutes later. That's not looking so bad. This is to the point that we can actually start painting on the cure rust and stopping it from coming back. We hope. No promises. Paint drying. I hope I've not gone too far.
12 hours later.
David did enjoy reading the newspaper. Alrighty, confession time. It's the end of day 3 of fiddling and painting and anti-rusting and pain. But we're about as far as we're going to get at the moment. So, tailgate. Painted, de-rusted, cured, fitted, and it fits back again. Didn't take me 3 attempts. So that is done. I've repainted the top section as well, just because it was getting a bit dodgy. But that's that. Behind there's all done as well, which is lovely. Coming up the front, dent's fixed. So we've gone from this to this. Which, to be fair, for my first attempt at panel beating, I'm not upset about. It's not brilliant. It's very clearly been beaten with a hammer, but it fits. The rest of confession time. I may have underestimated how much paint I needed. So I'm out of paint. So the roof currently looks horrible and covered in masking tape. So I'm not going to show you. But the next time we go to the shops, heaven knows when that'll be, some more paint and lacquer and we'll be good. Also, I'm having to stop because I discovered the windscreen wiper spindle. Well, there's supposed to be bolts around the outside of here, and there isn't. So either I'm going to have to find a new one, which in the middle of lockdown is not going to happen, or I'll come up with something. And I have a plan. Kinda. So there we go. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Travel on Gravel. There has been no travel and no gravel, but a lot of fixing. So see you next time, where we do something else, not travelly or gravelly, but definitely more fixy. And stay safe, everyone. See you later.